Hey, how you doing? Welcome in. This is, I remember the first time I started recording, I wanted to just have it's almost like the intention was to just talk to a friend, like have it be quite cozy. It's interesting how things change a little bit as we're going through different things though, because all of these expressions of who we are, they change depending on what situation that we're in. And it changes. I've asked Jesus, by the way, to speak, so he's the one that is guiding the conversation. You see, sometimes even saying that interrupts. You see, that's why we don't do it. We know that he is the one that is guiding us all the time. And sometimes we channel him, and sometimes we are in processing. That's really it. And when we are connected to all that is, we can feel his guidance, especially when we ask for it. When we're very specific, because sometimes we can mess up too, and then it's like, what did I do? It becomes a little bit like that. It's the same as you would do to a parent, but it's just recognizing that you're following the right signals, and how you've interpreted your own intuition. Because this is something that every human being can practice. And we've used our hermit phase to practice and to commune and to strengthen this bond that we have with Jesus and the entire team. I mean, this is... Now we know how to work together, and that's a big deal. Because once you know how to get back into alignment and clear away all the cobwebs that is not you, and then get the next step. Because sometimes it's like it can happen in a day. You're in the park and in the shopping center and there's a lot of people, and suddenly there's being talked to you, and you forgot what you were supposed to do, and then you suddenly got caught in some energy, and there's need for clearing constantly. That is the reason why we have these Haya sessions, these Haya Live. They are to clear the pathways, to unfog the brain, unfuck the system, sort of. This is what we have been using all the time. And other things too, but these are the main things that is getting us there really fast. And that is that connection with them. And they are guiding us now through all of these clearings. And they are very excited to come through and to support all of you. They desire so much to have much more people comprehend how to work with frequencies the way that we are showing here. So that you get a hang of, not just in theory, to brag to your neighbor or to show that you know what you're talking about to your, someone you want to impress. It's like we have to look at the reality here. It's not like there are many spiritual misconcepts that have sort of formed as well-meaning beings try to understand this knowledge and this environment. And a few of them are like things like, oh yeah, oh great, you have contact with your higher beings, yeah, but you're here to be a human. Almost like that's not important. Being a human is important. Get down here. And if you're too far up there, of course, it's needed to get some balance. But there needs to be recognition, otherwise that's not valued. You see? And it can be the other way around too, where you're so embodied but you're wanting that, which is the higher intelligence. Both of them are important because they are two of the same in a way. One is you and the connection to everything, and the rest is your body and the connection to Gaia and where we are right now. And when you can imagine that we are literally like a little hair. Oh, like a little hair. Do this. Like a little hair on here. We're sort of like one of these hairs. You know, when you get goosebumps, all of these hairs stand. That's sort of what it is to receive light. Goosebumps are light. They're more light. They are the light reflectors in the let's say in the hair that is receiving tiny particles of light. And if you receive a lot of it, everything stands. Because it's like ding, you're receiving energy. You know, it's coming from above when you have the right perspective. When you have the right perspective of who you are, what everyone else is, and how this whole thing functions, it's not something that you can trick yourself into, because if you're stuck in some kind of story, that's what we're working on untangling from, all of these twisted stories. And so it's about harmonizing those two. That's it. And the knower, very classic, they want to like say how much they know. You know? And it's the balance with, okay, well, is this the time? You know, like there are a lot of factors. Are we actually even connecting with this being, or are we just talking to a projection? You know, there's a lot of energies, let's just say, and it's important to know how to clear your energy. And that's what we're doing every single Thursday, every week. Right now we have chosen Thursday. We might do some changes there, because there are some changes on the way that we're receiving right now when it comes to that. So just watch out for that. But you know, sign up to the WhatsApp group, and then you'll get an update. Unless you're part of the full access, you'll receive that also in the calendar. So it's about balancing all the time. And so if we focus too much on the soul mission, even if we are moving forward, the body's not going to be happy. Because the body needs attention. It needs certain things in order to function in the most exciting way possible for the soul. And so the soul, you, have to then train to learn how to maneuver the body in order for it to feel the best. You know, that's the game. And that means do the things that your body feels excited about. It's really simple. But we have been so screwed with this logical thinking that we sort of need to hear it. And nowadays, when everyone is out there pretending, because they've gone off, and then they are trying to get back again, and they're sort of pretending that they are all good. Like, social media is such a thing. It's like, it's a lot of pretend. People put, and in a way, like, of course, when you're manifesting, there are steps, but it's not fake. It's like you're deciding something, then you have to see what comes up, what roadblocks you have to overcome. It doesn't jive just to create a website if you don't have any foundation. If you haven't developed your intuitive abilities, let's say, to the depth that's needed in order to be able to help another human being. That's what we're seeing today. So many beings that are just an expert. And so it's okay, because there is a fail-safe system. But it only works for the beings that have harmonized the knower and the feeler. Because then you can determine and you can see what everyone else is doing. And that's the thing. Once you get into balance with yourself and with your body, so that you don't let your body run off from you with other things, or in a way, sometimes people's attention is like a dog, like oh this thing, you know. But that has to be trained, so that the dog, your brain, so that you're using your brain to focus on what is the next step in your soul's evolution. Have you dealt with all of these karmic cycles? Have you closed them fully? Or are they showing up in different people out there? Because all of that needs to subside as well. And then you have the thoughts about it, that also needs to subside. And for all of that, there needs to be discipline into the right direction. There is needed with discipline. Discipline is important, especially receiving clarity and then implementing clarity. Implementing clarity we need to do this to course correct, so that we're all in balance here. And so that's important. That is a man's job, we would say. That's our job. No, it's not a man's job. It's the job of the one that sees. And sometimes that can be the man, sometimes that can be the woman. That's the main thing. This is not... but the thing is, you could incorporate those two usually. Like, that could be a thing. But it's not it doesn't have to be. You know, we just want to make that clear. I think that's what we are desiring, but it doesn't have to be like that. And it's not just that we are desiring it, it's because that is what we're stepping into and what we're being called to. So that needs to be in the contract of whoever we are to join with, because of our connection with all of our guides, Jesus, the Ascended Masters, and what we're working on bringing through here. We're shifting every single day, and every single day we are receiving more of the soul mission because of these air sessions. So whenever there is a little bit of some fogginess, we sit down, we commune, and we do a lot of clearing practices. There is some breath work, some sacred toning, and some breath holds, and a lot of channeling that we're doing inside of these. And sometimes they don't look the same. They have the same foundation, but we're working in very different ways with energies. And so we are clearing away a lot of energies with Jesus and the Ascended Master's help as well. And we are assisting with what we can do here on the ground, so to speak, like the ground control, right? So if you wish to join that, there's a link below or in the bio, so you are more than welcome to do that. Because once you have gotten yourself out of these behaviors and closed the cycles that needs to be closed, then, and this is not something that can be rushed. It's a natural process that Gaia takes you through, and you will feel your body being ready and open for something else when it's open for that. And these tonings are like this. They're very similar to an Om, what Om actually is. You know, how we're bringing through our frequency here, and we're using our frequency to heal both the body, to heal the mind, to better this connection so that we can receive our next step. Because sometimes it's like, okay, I know this up to this, but then what now? That's when you need a clearing so that you receive the next thing. Because sometimes it can be something that you have to do, that you haven't done, and sometimes it's just the receiving part. Sometimes just course correction in the mind, and usually it's a little combination sometimes. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Also, thank you so much to the being that let us know about there was an error in this booking system. That has now been fixed. So thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate when people take the time to, like, you know, I'm sure this is supposed to work. I just want to let you know, we really appreciate that. So thank you. All right. This is what we wanted to share for now. And leave a comment, a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.